What's going on, everybody? My name is John Tyler and welcome back to my channel. You're gonna have to forgive me, I'm a little bit hoarse today if I sound a little off, but you're just gonna have to stick with me. But today I'm just going to be doing a quick video talking about my all-time favorite night fishing bait, as well as a second bait that you can throw and pretty much get bit day and night, but especially in my opinion at night. But before we get into that, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and if you have any comments or questions, make sure to go down to the comment section below and drop them. But without further delay, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so the first bait I'm going to show you is the Gugamondo Mondo Worm. This is easily my all-time favorite night fishing lure. I'll open one up here and give you a closer look. I'm going to give you guys a close look here in just a second though. But I don't know if it's something about the scent or the super rubbery, soft nature of the Gugamondo Worm, but man, it just gets straight up bit. It's got crazy good action, comes in a lot of good colors. And I'm pretty much exclusively throwing this June bug color. Irregardless of clear water or muddy water at night, I'm throwing the June bug. It puts off a solid profile, and something about a purple worm screams big largemouth bass. So kind of on that note, I'm going to be throwing the 10-inch June bug Mondo worm in largemouth fisheries. So if I'm night fishing in a pond or I'm night fishing in a lake that is known specifically for producing largemouth bass, because this is a bait that in my opinion selects better for largemouth bass. I'm going to include some pictures of fish that I've caught on this, and some of those pictures are not going to be largemouth bass. I've caught some like 10-inch spotted bass on a 10-inch worm. Just depends on how aggressive the fish is, but I feel more confident catching a 3 to 4 pound largemouth bass on this than I do a large smallmouth or a large spot. But it's kind of funny. It's almost gotten to the point, there's a certain lake that I like to fish. If I go there at night with a 10-inch Mondo worm in my hand and I just fish it hard all night, I know for a fact I'm going to catch a largemouth over 4 pounds. It pretty much happens every single time. It may take a while, you might not get a ton of bites, but you will run into a large fish, because if a large fish sees a large bait like this and can smell that scent and get it in its mouth, he's going to want to eat it. So what am I fishing this on? I like to fish it on a 4/0 hook, which is a little bit smaller than what a lot of people like to do. I've really never had any issues missing fish. I think a 4/0 hook allows the bait to have maximum action while kind of balancing out with a solid hookup ratio. And at nighttime, I really want to be able to make good roll casts to the bank. I want to be able to feel my bait on the bottom. I don't want to be all wishy-washy wondering whether or not my bait is on the bottom. So I'm throwing this on a 1/4 ounce weight with a 4/0 hook and a 10-inch worm, so kind of a girthy, heavy worm to begin with, and a 1/4 ounce weight, which you might think is a pretty heavy rig for deep water, and yes, it definitely is. But like I said, I want to know that my bait's on the bottom. I want to know it's hopping up and hitting the bottom, hopping up and hitting the bottom. I think that's very important to me. I noticed as soon as I started to increase my weight and sinker size, had better contact with the bottom, could really feel and comb my bait through different pieces of structure under the water, I started getting more bites. So something else I don't have on me to show you, but I do want to note, is adding a bead to this setup. Now, I don't know if it's a big deal or not. I just know that I've gotten bit with the bead, and I throw a red bead alongside my 1/4 ounce weight, my hook. I throw it obviously in between the weight and the hook, but I put a bead in that presentation, add a little bit of a clack with the tungsten weight. If anything, it's another draw aspect at night, or could very well just be me making bullcrap up in my head. Nevertheless, I get bit throwing a 1/4 ounce weight with a bead, 4/0 hook, and the 10-inch Mondo worm. You know, this is a large presentation, but it's very limber, super easy to engulf when a bass sucks it in, so you can catch small fish on it too. I'm just saying that if you put it in front of a large fish, he's gonna eat it, and that's pretty cool, and that's what you want to hear. I have thrown the green pumpkin Mondo worm before, but man, there's something about this purple worm. I love purple on my jigs. I like purple. If I can get a purple crankbait, I like purple. I think it's a little bit different. I don't think as many people throwing purple. More people like to throw that black and blue combination. But if I can get that purple bait down there, I know I'm going to catch a big fish. So I'm throwing it on this 17-pound clear blue fluorescent trilene monofilament line. Ideally, I would be throwing this on 17-pound fluorocarbon. I throw 17-pound trilene fluorocarbon most of the time, but that's for daytime fishing. If I want to see my line at night, I'm going to go this clear blue. Yes, you have a lot of stretch, something to note when you set your hook in deep water, which I'm oftentimes fishing this in. But you got to do what you got to do to see your line, and sometimes you got to cut corners and not do exactly what you want, but you're still going to catch fish, so don't worry about it. And I'm throwing this as a pretty real deal setup in my opinion. I jack these fish pretty hard because I got to make up for the stretch in the monofilm in that deep water. I'm throwing this on a 610 Jason Christie pitch and skip rod. Like always, I'm going to link all the products that I mentioned in this video in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. But that's kind of my favorite worm jig setup. I'm a shorter guy, about 5'9", so I don't need a giant 7.6 heavy rod. I have a 6'10" heavy rod, which allows me to make good roll accurate casts at night. You want to eliminate as many variables that cause error when you're night fishing, because when you can't see nothing, you're liable to make a couple of mistakes. So yeah guys, that kind of summarizes up and concludes the first lure, my all-time favorite night fishing lure. If you want to catch big largemouth at night, that's what you should go with. The next bait I'm going to show you, I haven't caught as many big fish on, but I have caught plenty of numbers. It's a bait that I'll switch to when the 10-inch worm is not working. For example, if I'm fishing in June, I find that this presentation is superior to the 10-inch worm. They just want something a little more subtle. But let me show it to you. You guys are going to be like shocked about what I'm about to show you, because it's totally off the wall. You ain't never caught a fish on in your whole life. 5-inch Senko. Now, I am a big proponent of Texas rigging the Senko, because I think everybody's wacky rigging Senkos these days. So if you're showing the fish a Texas rig Senko, you're doing something a little bit different. I think you're going to get a lot of bites, and there's few things less intrusive, is that the correct word? Less aggressive than a Senko. So if you put it in front of a fish at night, he's going to eat it. Basically, I'm carrying over what I do with my 10-inch worm to the Senko. And what does that mean? So I'm going to throw a 3/0 hook. I'm going to still throw a bead, but I'm going to throw a 3/16 ounce sinker. So a little bit smaller sinker, just a smaller presentation, more subtle presentation overall. And because I'm dropping things down in weight, I'm going to go down to a medium heavy. I throw this on my 6'8" Jason Christie medium heavy. It's like a spinnerbait crankbait rod, but it's great for throwing Senkos. This will get bit. I have caught a lot more smallmouth and spotted bass on this than I do if I were to be throwing a 10-inch worm. I can count on my hand the amount of smallmouth I've caught on a 10-inch worm. One. As for color, I really don't think much about color when it comes to Senkos, especially at night fishing. Just throw something brown. I mean, real deal. Throw something green, throw something brown. I will go into Cabela's or Dick's and walk to the shelf and be like, oh, well, that's brown. They'll bite it. Because they will. It's a Senko. You're going to catch fish on any variety of green/brown Senko. Better yet, I picked up some black Senkos recently, and I'm really looking forward to throwing those because, like I said a moment ago, I like that purple, I like that black profile. I'm very curious to see how the black performs. My curiosity only goes so far because I know I'm going to catch fish on it because it's a Senko. Senkos always get bit, so do not overthink color when it comes to a Senko. Okay, well, my camera randomly shut off. I don't know where I was, but we're going to roll with it. I think I was at the point of saying thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to try these things on your home lake. I guarantee you're going to catch a big old fish. As always, guys, I hope each and every single one of you has an excellent day, and I'll see y'all in the next one.